terms for a peace deal.
During a Pentagon briefing, Hegseth said the U.S. knows which military assets Iran has left and is watching Iran move them.
Our forces are maximally postured to restart combat operations should this new Iranian regime choose poorly and not agree to a deal.
Hegseth said the U.S. controls the Strait of Hormuz, not Iran. He also criticized some of the media coverage of the war.
Sometimes it's hard to figure out what side some of you are actually on. It's incredibly unpatriotic.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
England's Archbishop of Canterbury, Sally Mullally, says she just called Pope Leo's courageous call for peace after a war of words with President Trump. As the war drags on, a stark warning from the head of the International Energy Agency, Fatih Birol.
In Europe, we have maybe 6 weeks or so jet fuel left.
He's warning of possible flight cancellations soon. Multiple reports warn budget-friendly Spirit Airlines may go under for good. Transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve from Bush Intercontinental in Houston.
As the price of jet fuel has nearly doubled since January, driven by the conflict in Iran, airline sources now tell CBS News some of Spirit's creditors question the airline's ability to make debt payments or return to profitability, which could lead the discount carrier to run out of financial runway.
Health Secretary Kennedy is testifying on Capitol Hill right now, defending President Trump's plan to slash his department's budget by more than 12%. Kennedy says we need to spend more on preventing chronic illness, not treating it.
Parents across the country demanded change, and we are delivering it. We are ending the era of federal policies that fueled the chronic disease epidemic and replacing them with policies that put the health of Americans first.
This is CBS News.
Join Adriana Diaz and Kelly O'Grady for the perfect start to your weekend. Ease into your Saturday with CBS Saturday Morning on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement. Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I opened a restaurant and needed everything. Menus, signage, catering brochures.
Everything and then some.
I went to Staples. They printed it all and even suggested takeout menus.
One money pit with a side of fries.
But now at Staples, you get up to $125 off custom print orders.
$125 off. Now you're cooking. Brand your business in a big way at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or in the app by 4/18 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
When it comes to your child's health,
you want care that's close, convenient,
and centered around the needs of your family.
At MMC Pediatrics, we're more than just doctors.
We're partners in your parenting journey.
Here for every growth spurt,
for every boo-boo,
every fever, and every flu.
Our team approach means that your child always sees someone that knows them.
We are MMC Pediatrics.
We are right beside you.
Every step of the way.
Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Good morning, Bill Kraus back on the WGNS Radio Roundtable. Sorry you missed your all last Thursday. Sitting at Vanderbilt, or I should say lying down at Vanderbilt was my alternative, not by choice, but by chance. I am very, very pleased personally, well above professionally, very pleased personally, to have as our guest today a gentleman who I have great admiration for. This is not a political endorsement. This is not a political statement, but a gentleman that reflects the word leadership as I try to teach it in my classes at both Motlow and Columbia State. It's my great pleasure to welcome back to the WGNS Radio Roundtable Thursday morning edition our Rutherford County Mayor, Joe Carr. Joe, welcome.
Thank you, Bill. Those are very kind words, and I'm not often speechless, but I am speechless, so thank you very much.
Most hopefully your opposition isn't asking me to do this whatsoever. Joe, let's talk about the word leadership. Let's talk about your tragic experience you had on Veterans Day 2025 with the horse and what that has done. Let's talk about Joe Carr, who has many of its roots in the ground as far as agriculture is concerned. Joe Carr, the leader, Joe Carr, the man, Joe Carr, the optimist.
Well, I don't know where to begin with all that, Bill, except to say, and before we get started on leadership, as we were setting up here, and Brian's doing his deal, he's the man behind the curtain, right? So, and you and I talked earlier about us having faces for radio.
Exactly.
I don't think we can say that anymore, Bill, because Brian's got us on TV now. So
Exactly.
I don't know if that's going to hurt WGNS ratings. We hope not. But two guys who have a face for radio, we may be blowing things up here.
And the love. I didn't mention that in my introduction. I think once radio gets in your system, and I have to quote Bart Walker. Bart has said to me many, many a times, once radio gets in your system, it will never go away.
I love it. As you know, I had a show briefly.
About that for
I had
a moment.
A show briefly for 6 months on WLAC, a drive-in show. I absolutely loved it, and I like the spontaneity, the extemporaneous conversation, how you can have a plan on what you want to talk about, and how quickly that plan develops into something else you didn't anticipate. And so
Exactly.
I love that give and take. So it's a lot of fun, and I appreciate you and Brian and WGNS having us on so we can talk about issues that are important to our community. And like you said, leadership is certainly one of those issues.
Let's start with Joe Carr, the leader, and let's start where Joe was born, Joe's growth in life, Joe's experience in life, but where Joe turned into a leader, whether it was the state legislature, whether it was prior. Give us a biography of Joe Carr.
So, my father was a fighter pilot in the Air Force.
World War II?
Korea and Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
He flew the F-86 Sabre jet in Korea over Mig Alley in the early 50s. And then he met my mom. And then they got in Panama City, where he was stationed at Fort Tyndall, and that's where I was born. My mom is from Tennessee. She is a sixth-generation Rutherford Countyan.
Wow.
And they met on the beach in Florida when she was on spring break and he was on TDY. And 9 months later,
there was Joe.
They got married, and then subsequent to that, of course, I was born. But so in my early years, childhood, I traveled all over the United States
as a military brat.
As a military brat, exactly. When my dad retired in 1971-72 from the Pentagon after 20 years in the service.
But still in the middle of Vietnam.
That's right. Well, as a matter of fact, he flew as a forward air controller in Vietnam right before Tet, the Tet Offensive. But he flew out of a little base called Bien Hoa, which isn't so little, close to Da Nang. But in any event, so we moved back here. And then I went to Middle Tennessee Christian School for the 8th grade. Went to Riverdale in high school. Graduated 76. Went to Middle Tennessee.
You were the spirit of 76.
That's exactly right. Went to Middle Tennessee State University for my undergraduate and graduate work.
In what field?
You would ask me that.
Yes.
Believe it or not, my original desire was to be a forest ranger. And
really?
Yes, I wanted. Early on, I wanted to be a forest ranger in the backcountry in Colorado, Wyoming, or Montana.
Even more so than the Smokies?
Yeah, I wanted to be. People won't believe this, but I'm a horrible introvert. I know. I get that all the time.
Brian, would you agree with that?
I'm a horrible introvert. But in any event, we can talk about that later. But in any event, so you talk about the formation of my leadership skills. Everybody's leadership skills, and everybody has leadership skills, Bill, those are formulated really early in our life by the challenges that we encounter.
And the encouragement and motivation of family.
Yes. And so what happens is how you lead is, I believe, directly related to how you dealt with those hardships and challenges. And I want to go to the word, the scripture, just a little bit, because this is what I lean on when we talk about leadership. Your leadership ability is your ability to empathize with others and how people identify with you and what you're trying to do. And the word says in Romans 5:3, suffering leads to perseverance, perseverance, character, hope, and hope doesn't disappoint us.
Great.
But it begins with suffering. And so what we have to do is, if we want that character to develop in us, we have to preserve and embrace the suffering or the hardship or the difficulty, because the word also says, as iron sharpens iron, so does man sharpen man. So these difficulties, these hardships, these challenges that we all have to go through, it's imperative that we endure them and we persevere in them, because that is what develops our character to be the leader that the people around us need.
Exactly. And if you allow yourself to be that,
yes.
I mean, a lot of people resist it, or they close their eyes to it, or they ignore it.
That's exactly right.
But you will open your eyes, open your heart to accept it.
And before you can be a good leader, you have to excel at understanding what it is to be a follower.
Exactly.
You cannot be a leader without having first. You can't give instruction unless you're willing to take instruction.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Totally. So your experience at MTSU, you highly demonstrated that you were a man of the earth.
Yeah.
You were a man of the land. That's your love for nature.
Well, I have to confess,
all right,
my desire was to be a forest ranger, and I went to Colorado State University and turned around and came back, and I enrolled at MTSU, and I got my bachelor's degree in behavioral psychology. And then I went on and did my master's work in clinical psychology with emphasis on advanced statistical analysis.
And see, I don't see you as a statistician. I see you as the person that implements the statistics rather than...
I love statistics.
You love to work with numbers.
I love it. I love a spreadsheet.
So when you're working the 26-27 budget for Rutherford County, that's getting into numbers.
Yeah, we have. That's great. I'm glad you mentioned that, because we're right in the middle of our budget season, and it's imperative that the people out there understand we are not raising property taxes. I know there's rumor that we're going to raise property taxes. The only reason, and this is leadership, this absolutely segues perfectly to leadership. The only reason you would ever need to raise property taxes is for two reasons. Number one, you can't balance your budget.
Correct.
Okay, that's number one. We're going to balance our budget this year. Full stop. End of discussion. Or the second reason is you have a serious capital project need that can't be funded within the existing budget, like if you need to build a large school or something like that. Those are the only reasons that would possibly allow you to raise property taxes. Those two reasons do not exist for Rutherford County right now, and so there will be no property tax increase. We will balance our budget. We will give our county employees their COLA increase, their pay raise. We're thinking 3%. We will make sure that we maintain our AAA bond ratings, with which we have 3, and we will also make sure that we do not raise property taxes. We will do those 4 things this budget cycle.
And the interesting thing is, how much control does the county have over your expenses? The first thing that comes to mind are your insurance premiums. You know, there's a lot
of insurance premiums are going up 30% this year.
Yes, and
so we're going to have to absorb that increase.
And
exactly.
You can't cancel it. You can't say, well, we're going to do a year without
our pension this year is going to be almost 14%.
Absolutely. So when you begin to think of what's not controllable by the local official or the county official in government, in spending, it's extensive, and people think, well, the budget conflict, the budget process, you may have, correct me if I'm wrong, 20%, 25% of the total budget that you have true control of?
No, sir. It's not that much.
Wow.
So let's just break it down.
Okay.
Rutherford County last year's budget, that was the 25-26 budget year, which ends June 30th, was a $950 million budget.
Wow.
We will be close to $1 billion this year. Okay, and the budget is determined not by what we spend, but projected revenues.
Sure.
If you're going to balance your budget, we spend our projected revenues. Now, what do we spend that on? 75% of our budget is spent on education, and we are required to spend 75% on education because we're under an edict from the state that we can't decrease spending. in education. Then the second largest piece is the Sheriff's Department and the jail. The Sheriff's Department part of the budget is about $83 million. They have over 600 employees. So we're really constricted there. We're also constricted.
Are they at full capacity right now in the jail?
We are over capacity. We're horribly overcrowded, which is another issue that we can get to in a few minutes.
Sure.
Then you have the solid waste department, and you have all these other support departments that are required by statute. So you probably have about maybe 10 or 15% of the total budget that you have discretion over. But when you start cutting that discretionary, what we call discretionary spending, it has a serious adverse impact on all the other departments that are statutorily required to maintain at a budget level.
Wow.
It's very, very complicated. We don't have a lot of room, but I will tell you, again, we do not need to raise property taxes, and we will not raise property taxes this budget cycle.
I don't want to get into this, but the value of property, it goes up. This is a very, very desirous county in Tennessee, probably one of the most to live, one of the most to invest, to build.
We're the fastest growing county in the state, Bill.
Wow, that's amazing. Population now?
About 400,000. We're larger than Hamilton County.
That is amazing.
Which is Chattanooga.
And you're now approaching Knox County.
Yeah. and with that growth is great opportunity and great challenges. And you don't get one without the other. Again, the leadership requires that you understand with opportunity come great challenges. The biggest challenge with our growth, though, is how do we supply the infrastructure necessary to support not only the existing population, but those people who want to come here and enjoy this community and its values and principles.
There's thousands of people as we speak right now sitting on I-24 heading north.
In the parking lot. The parking lot called I-24.
I don't know why Thursday is a particularly heavy commuter time. It's funny how the days will vary within your commute time, but you look at coming down south on I-24 from Laverne.
Yes.
And I watch that traffic, and I see people doing that day by day. You know, I know the county works very closely with the state of Tennessee.
They do. As a matter of fact, as we speak, there is a transportation meeting with TDOT in Smyrna about the expansion of the I-24 interstate that the county is very involved in. But I had my priorities straight, Bill. Leadership does. So I'm here on the radio with Bill Kraus, ladies and gentlemen.
Rather than
not in Smyrna talking to TDOT. They can get by without me. Bill can't.
You have made my day, my week, my month, my year, and my life.
Oh, Bill, you're great.
Let's go on to life again. So after graduating, coming back from Colorado, most of your professional life was in what area?
When I finished my graduate work at Middle Tennessee, I became a behavior therapist for a short time, and then was newly married, had 2 young children, and the need to take care of my family was the most important thing in my life, as it is for any young married man.
Old married man, too.
That's right. And Jenny and I, we've been married 43 years. We have 3 lovely children and 2 grandchildren, but Jenny and I made the decision, as difficult it was going to be, that she was going to stay home and raise the kids, and I was going to have to work. And so I started a business in 1990 called Precision Concepts. It's a great story because it's a God story. My brother and I both found ourselves unemployed, and we couldn't get jobs, and we have mouths to feed. We both have mouths to feed. And so we decided, since nobody would hire us, we would hire ourselves. And so we got a $5,000 loan, and we started an engineering company.
You recall the bank?
I'm sorry?
Do you recall the bank?
Dominion.
Okay.
How about that? I can't believe you asked me that. And it just popped. It was Dominion Bank.
See, your memory, your
Dominion Bank hadn't been around in a long time.
I had to ask that because there's such history in the change of the financial banking industry. I was curious how many people out there.
It was Dominion Bank in Nashville on Murfreesboro Road. That's the first time I've thought about that in years.
Well, now we triggered off a mindset.
You did. But so we went and borrowed $5,000. And we used my brother's car as collateral. And
what kind of car was it?
An Alfa Romeo.
Oh, he was high flying.
Yeah.
He was high flying.
He had an Alfa Romeo. It's a little Italian car. But anyway, so we borrowed $5,000 and we started the business August 28th, 1990. Mm-hmm. In less than 3 years, it was a multi-million-dollar business. We worked 80 and 90 hours a week, traveling the Southeast.
Civil engineering?
No, mechanical. My brother is a Georgia Tech grad. He's brilliant. Patrick is brilliant. And so Patrick was an engineer, and imagine this, I'm the sales guy. I know that's tough for people to believe.
No, such an introvert.
Such an introvert.
Yes.
So I was the sales and business side. Patrick was the engineering and technology side. And by 1993, we were a multi-million-dollar business. In 1995, I bought my brother out. By 1998, we had probably 8 to 10 offices around the country, especially in the Southeast.
Based, though, in Murfreesboro?
We were based in Nashville. Nashville, up on Limbar Drive. Mm-hmm. And in 1998, a company out of Dallas, Texas, bought us out, kept Patrick and I on as consultants for 2 years. Mm-hmm. And during that period of time, I became quite proficient in trading stocks, equities, futures, and derivatives.
I'm not going to ask your opinion in April 16th, 2026.
No, don't.
No.
I haven't been trading in a while, but I did really, really well. I did so well, Bill, at trading that I was able to generate a tremendous amount of income for my family.
Phenomenal.
But as a young man of 40 who was doing really well, he also thought he was really good. Mm-hmm. And pride becomes the fall.
Yes.
And so there was a little event in 2000 called the dot-com bust.
Yes. I always remember December 31st, 1999.
Yes.
And everybody's waiting on New Year's Eve. Is this world going to collapse?
It didn't happen.
How many businesses started up that year before to consult companies what happens if the big the big blast occurs?
The big nothing happened.
Big nothing,
It
yes.
was a big nothing.
I always remember 1201.
That's
we were in
Y2K, remember?
Totally. We were in the high desert Plain Bridge in California, and everybody stopped playing and
wait for the lights
to go out, and nothing happened.
Nothing happened. But so I was, because pride becomes before the fall.
Sure.
And I had a lot of pride.
But you had the right to. Look at what you built.
Well, I lost everything.
Oh.
And
going up and going down.
That's it. And we didn't. Thankfully, we didn't have to declare bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. It was tough for a couple of years, but Patrick and I decided to start over, and so we started another engineering company in 2002 called Virtual Edge. This company, instead of being a mechanical engineering company, was an electrical engineering company.
Okay.
And we dealt with a large manufacturing systems and helping them remediate line losses or I-squared losses in their electrical distribution system.
Excellent.
And so we were absolutely on the cutting edge of energy conservation for these large manufacturing facilities, helping them save quite a bit of money on their electric utility bill. In 2008, I became a state rep.
What prompted you to run?
I lost a bet with Howard Wall.
What was the bet?
The bet Howard bet me that if I couldn't find somebody else, he would back me to run against Mr. Hood, State Representative John Hood, in 2006. Mm-hmm. I couldn't, so I lost, and I had to run. And I ran against John. John's a great guy, a Southern gentleman, if there ever was one. And I know he's not doing well, so our prayers go to John right now. But anyway, so.
He reminds me of Doug Henry.
Yes, mm-hmm. I remember Doug Henry, mm-hmm. exactly. Just a
Southern gentleman.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
solid Southern gentleman. That wonderful man. But anyway, so he beat me in 2006. I ran again in 2008. I won in 2008, and I was in the legislature for 6 years, and I left there in 2014.
Did you find well, that's one of the questions I've always wanted to ask you. The question being a legislator among 40 or 80 versus being a chief executive among one.
Yes. So
difference between making decision, proposing decision versus the difference of being part of coalition collaboration.
The biggest difference between being a state rep of one of 99, because there are 99 state reps in the state house, and being the CEO of a county of 400,000 people is like daylight and dark.
Totally.
And I'll tell you why. When you're a legislator or a representative, a congressman, a senator, you can afford, and indeed it is expected, for you to be ideologically pure, that you can hold to your values and principles with great steadfast resolution. While you may have those same principles and values as a CEO, as a mayor,
sure,
you are a mayor for everybody, and so you have to bring coalitions together to collaborate to solve problems. And I think the one thing that my life experiences have taught me is working and collaborating with people to find implementable, pragmatic solutions to solve everyday problems. And we've done, since I've been mayor, I wish I could take credit. No, I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I don't wish I could take credit, because that would be a lie, because the team that I have to work with is absolutely phenomenal. And this team was in place before I got here, Bill. When I showed up, I was blessed by God to have a vision for this county about what needed to be done. I sat down with all the directors, all the constitutional officers, and the state delegation, the governor, and we said, here is our vision for this county. I need you. Can you get on board with that vision? Every person said, absolutely. And I said, great. Here's what we're going to do. And so as a result of the vision and that collaboration and their incredible hard work ethic, we have built and manned 5 new public health and safety buildings. Wow. We have spent almost $400 million on new schools in the county. We have which is renovated 4 high schools, built a new middle school, and built an elementary school. We have built a brand new transfer station that's bringing $1 million of new revenue into the county. We are currently constructing a new state-of-the-art forensic center, the 6th one in the state. We have not 1, not 2, but 3 AAA bond ratings now.
That's phenomenal.
Unheard of. We're one of 53 counties in the entire nation with 3 AAA bond ratings. We've balanced our budget every year. We've given pay raises to our employees every year, and the county is in the best financial condition it has ever been in. And while I love to tell the story, I can't, as much as I'd like to take credit, I can't, because it's a team collaborative effort to get that done.
Getting back to leadership, one of the many things that impresses me, Mayor Carr, Joe, it's my friend Joe.
Thank you,
is your love of nature. November 11th, you were on a horse. November 11th, I don't know what your
Veterans Day, Bill.
Love affair is with that horse, but also that you raise bees. You have a lot of other things coming from the ground, coming from nature. Talk about Joe Carr, the man of the land.
And my heart is a conservationist. I am an avowed tree hugger. I grow trees, I cut them down, I put them on my...
But your bark is worse than your bite?
Yes, much worse.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, but my wife and I have a 95-acre farm in Las Casas that we bought in 1994. We built our dream home in 95, and we've been there ever since. And it's probably
Tell me you have a lot of trees because of your forestry love way back.
It is. We have a lot of trees. I probably plant anywhere between 50 and 100 trees a year out there.
Wow. Any particular type?
Well, I was trying to introduce some unique species to this area, and I've learned that the soil is very intolerant of certain species. So now my focus is on the plants that are indigenous to this area, and so we make sure that we cultivate those kind of things. And I like to plant things that are going to pollinate or that are going to feed my bees. So
how'd you get in the bees?
By accident. Everything in my life is by accident.
Did your wife call you honey once and you took it seriously?
My wife wanted, this is a true story, my wife wanted to make elderberry juice. And she wanted to make it. So she said, I need you to plant some elderberry bushes. So I planted 6 elderberry bushes. And she says, oh, by the way, I need raw honey to make the elderberry juice. And I started doing a little research. That was the amount of honey she needed was going to be expensive. So I said, I'll just go get 3 hives, and you'll have your own honey for your elderberry juice. Well, 3 hives turned into 6 hives. They turned into 11 hives within the first year. The next year, I had 24 hives. Wow. The next year, I had 36. 36 is too many for Joe Carr. But I stayed.
You got along with the queen, all right?
Oh yeah. Well, Jenny's the queen.
Oh,
Bill.
okay, I got you. The real queen.
Yeah, the real queen. But yeah, so we now have about 20 hives, and last year we harvested 800 pounds of honey. And it's just a sideline. It's not, it doesn't, it's just something I enjoy doing, and I love giving back to the community. Seems to enjoy it, but yeah, I enjoy doing that.
So what happened on November 11th? You had been downtown?
Yeah, so it was Veterans Day.
Yes.
I was at the courthouse for that Veterans Day celebration. I went home and I told Joe, I said, we've got 11 horses on the farm that we break and train and trail ride. And I said, let's get hopscotch and, let's see, hopscotch, and what was the other horse? What was the horse Joe was riding? I guess he was riding Popcorn.
Have you done this for a long period of time?
Oh, yeah. I've been breaking horses 25 years.
All right. It's got to be a relationship with leadership.
Well, so I told Joe we're gonna go train these horses. They're young. They're young.
Now, Joe is
my son.
Your
Joe
son,
Jr.
Joe. Okay.
And so these are 3 and 4 year olds. So they're skittish, which is part of the program. And so it's interesting when Joe and I are riding through the gate to go out into the field to do the training ride. I said, Joe, I want you to get the gate. Now you're a man of faith, Bill, so
yes,
you will
sir.
get this. I promise you. When Joe gets down to get the gate, the Lord says, Joe, you need to get off your horse and tighten the cinch strap, the girt strap. That's the belt underneath the horse that holds the saddle on. I literally said, no, I got this. Now, Bill.
So you told God?
Oh, yeah. No, I told God I got this.
Better opinion.
Yes, sir. He said, okay.
He said,
10 minutes later, we're riding down a creek bank and walking him in the creek. That's part of the train ride. We walk back out of the creek. My horse spooks. That's not a problem. It happens. Happens before. Not an issue. But when she spooked, the saddle, because it was loose, rotated. And then when it rotated, she went crazy. She bucked me off and threw me straight up in the air. I landed on my back, broke 9 ribs, lacerated liver, punctured lung, and I was taken by ambulance to St. Thomas. And then from St. Thomas, they took me to Vanderbilt.
I hate to ask this mind thought as far as, did you ask God? I guess I did make a mistake.
Well, what's funny is the story's not done yet.
Okay.
So on Wednesday morning, the following day, 2 o'clock in the morning, I wake up and I am racked with pain. And I can't move. it's...
You're still at home?
No.
Oh, at Vanderbilt.
I'm at Vanderbilt. I'm at Vanderbilt Trauma at this time.
Okay.
And I'm laying there, and I'm telling you, the same voice that I heard at the gate said, do you hear me now?
Yes.
And I thought,
loudly and clearly.
I said, I do. He said, what I'm going to, if you're willing, what you're going to suffer is going to make you better. Are you ready to suffer?
We'll get the answer right after this. We're having a more than a wonderful, to me, and this is my own opinion, a totally inspirational visit with Mayor Joe Carr, County of Rutherford.
When it comes to your child's health,
you want care that's close, convenient,
and centered around the needs of your family.
At MMC Pediatrics, we're more than just doctors.
We're partners in your parenting journey.
Here for every growth spurt,
for every boo-boo,
every fever, and every flu.
Our team approach means that your child always sees someone that knows them.
We are MMC Pediatrics.
We are right beside you.
Every step of the way.
What's the location of your emergency? I think my kid OD'd.
Hi, I'm Craig Harris, I'm County Commissioner of Rutherford County. One of the reasons I ran for office is because I wanted to bring awareness to the opioid epidemic that's impacting our county. to stop providing this epidemic with people as we educate. We have a lot to do, and we have to come together as a community because this problem is not going away.
Listen up, Rutherford County. Join the Crypto Learning Center Tuesday, April 21st at 6 p.m. for barbecue and crypto. It's happening at the Holiday Inn Grand Ballroom in Murfreesboro. Enjoy a free barbecue dinner from Slick Pig while also learning about cryptocurrency. No pressure, no obligation. They're giving away over $500 in crypto, and the first 25 people to register and attend are guaranteed free crypto in hand. Seating is limited. Register now. GetHonestMoney.com. That's GetHonestMoney.com.
Insurance should be simple, not complicated. That's why at Rayburn Insurance, Agent Rick Hull cuts through the jargon and helps you understand your options clearly. He's committed to finding the right coverage that fits your unique needs and budget. Their team has been a trusted partner in the community since 1973. Ready to make insurance easy? Get with Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency. He's ready to help you get the protection you deserve.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by AmeriCare Pest Control and the law offices of John Day.
This is a paid legal ad.
When a family member is lost as a result of someone else's negligence, the grief can be unbearable. It also leaves you with a lot of questions like, how did this happen? Who's responsible? And is my family going to be okay? That's a lot to go through, but with the law offices of John Day on your side, you don't have to go through any of it alone. We understand what you're going through, and we have the experience to get the answers, justice, and compensation your family deserves. Call the law offices of John Day.
Now, Good Neighbor Events. Here's Bart Walker.
Maybe you're new to town and want to learn more about this community. Well, head over to the one-room Ransom Schoolhouse Saturday, anytime between 9 o'clock in the morning and noon. Members of the Rutherford County Historical Society will be there to share information about this community. Ransom School is at 717 North Academy Street in Murfreesboro. Zeta Phi Beta Sorority presents the sophisticated Blue Crown, a maternal and infant wellness celebration. It's going to be 2:30 this Saturday afternoon at the Murfreesboro Police Department, 1004 North Highland. And next week is the Tennessee Philharmonic's final concert of the 44th season. If you don't have your tickets yet, get them online from the Tennessee Philharmonic Orchestra. And the concert is a celebration of 250 years of America. A rhapsody in red, white, and blue. Again, that's Thursday, April 23rd, 7 o'clock in the evening at Bel Air Baptist Church. Don't miss it. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor Events.
Rutherford weather.
Partly cloudy skies today with a chance for storms. High of 82. Chance of thunderstorms tonight, 58. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Vuchitsky on News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 72 degrees.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Want to take charge of your energy bill? Download the free MyMTE app to track your usage, pay bills, and report outages right from your phone. Download in the App Store today.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
This is Bill Kraus. Welcome back to the WGNS Radio Roundtable Thursday morning edition. Before we continue on the discussion of leadership with Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, I think a response would be in order to a text that just came in a few minutes ago. Actually, the text raised the same question that was raised previously at a candidate's forum. And more specifically, the text was wanting a clarification, most hopefully taking the fact, most hopefully having an understanding of the budgetary process that every one of the 95 counties of Tennessee must go through in the budgetary process, the timing of the budget. So, Joe, take a whack at that one.
Well, the text message seems to imply or accuse the commission and the mayor's office of waiting till after the election before we would
which
raise
is May
taxes.
5th.
May 5th.
Cinco de Mayo.
Exactly. Which I have already said on numerous occasions, there is no reason, there is no financial reason why the county would need to raise property taxes this year. And since there is no financial reason to do so, we will not do so.
How far along are you in the process?
So,
Have you
on the budget process?
Yes.
So the budget process is a lot of times dictated by state law about when we got to hit certain benchmarks. So the finance director, Michael Smith, in January, puts out a calendar for the directors, the constitutional officers, the mayor's office,
in accordance with state law.
Right, and so the first part of the process is the mayor sits down and meets with all the constitutional officers, all the departments, school, sheriff, OIT.
Is there a natural sequence to that?
Yeah, there's a sequence, and so they schedule these visits. So these departments, the department heads, bring their budget to the mayor and to Michael Smith, and we assemble each department's budget as part of a piece of the puzzle to make this overall puzzle
picture.
fit. And the puzzle has to fit, like I've said, with the following criteria. And every department head and every constitutional officer knows that these are the criteria by which they're to submit their budget in cooperation with all the other budgets that are going to be submitted. And that is, we are going to make sure that we give our employees the raise to compensate for inflation the previous year, whatever that is. And this year, our proposal will be 3%. We are going to absolutely make sure that we don't harm our AAA bond rating by dipping too deep into our fund balance or by over-borrowing. We're not doing that. We will absolutely make sure that we balance our budget. That is a must. And then we will also make sure that we do all three of those without having to raise property taxes.
And the other question is, when do you get the revenue projections?
We won't get the revenue projections for our certified tax rate till the end of April, 1st of May,
which you have no control over.
We have no control over.
That comes from the state of Tennessee.
So we can't build our budget literally until we get the certified tax rate. And so that's that part of the equation. The other part of the equation is we can't move to the budget committee to present the budget until I finish working with all of the departments. And so it happens the same way every year. The calendar is very, very similar the same way every year. We spend the second half of March and all of April sitting down with the departments, putting their budgets together. All of May is in the budget committee. It's been this way for years. It hadn't changed. And so we're in the budget committee in May, and then we go before the full commission in June for adoption. And that's the process. And so on about June 26th, we are scheduled to ratify and adopt the budget with the certified tax rate before July 1, which is our deadline.
And not putting you on the spot, and you're not a guesser. You're a man because, as you shared earlier, you love statistics. You love information. You love correct information. You love information that is objective, not a guess. But the last week of April, you're going to have an idea of revenue?
It'll be the last week of April, 1st of May, whenever the state decides to tell us what the certified tax rate's going to be. And that is the last big piece that we're looking for.
So I'm not putting you on the spot here that you're not going to come out the first week of May, 4 days before the election, and say no tax hike because the revenue picture came out well?
Well, Michael and I have said for 3 months now, based on where we are with our budget, the biggest issue with the budget right now, Bill, and we talked about this earlier, is that we are seeing about a 30% increase in our premiums for insurance.
And like every other agency,
it's health insurance, property and casualty insurance, it's all kinds of insurance. We're seeing a 30% increase in the cost of the county of that insurance.
You're lucky to have it.
That's right. And we're also seeing a $2 million increase in our pension fund. And those things have to be absorbed internally. And so we're going to absorb those costs internally. And so we've asked departments to make cuts or not ask for increase in expenditures. And every department has been splendid in cooperating with us in doing that. And so Michael and I believe very strongly, that there will be no reason to have a property tax increase. So the rumor out there that we're going to wait till after May 5th is unfounded, untrue, and the fact that this individual keeps saying it doesn't make it more true.
You wonder what you have to say to have this individual say, I see your point, I understand, I appreciate your openness, I appreciate your honesty, and I appreciate your knowledge.
Well, I got an idea. Let's wait to the end of May and see who's right, and then maybe they'll come back on the radio and offer an apology.
Or let's say an alternative. People do not apologize.
The chances of us raising property taxes are absolutely slim to none this year.
One other area that I'd like to talk about, within that does affect revenue, and it's something that whenever we see the major desire to reduce interest rates, we love the idea of reducing interest rates on housing and on consumer items. But we forget that we also, public agencies, senior citizens significantly, have a lot of money invested that they anticipate the interest on that CD, interest on that money. And interest rates are going down, and as a result, revenue is going down.
That's right. Interest income is going down.
Absolutely. The senior citizen who has that $100,000 CD and expected that 4% of $4,000 may now see a 3.2, and suddenly that's money out of his or her pocket.
That's right.
And so we don't look at the other side, and we have to look at all sides ultimately. The one question I have to ask you, and you certainly made great reference to it, as a leader of the Rutherford County Commission and so forth, you have to deal with a lot of compromise and collaboration. You have to bring people together.
Yeah.
Do you ever find from what your ideal dream of what magic wand you could bring to Rutherford County has to be watered down for a decision that is a compromise decision that brings people together, but may water down that decision to such a degree it's worthless?
That is a great question. I have discovered, first of all, let me say that I have a phenomenal working relationship with a number of county commissioners, and the county commission provides an invaluable service to the governance of this county. A necessary part of government is the county commission. But my relationship with people like Commissioner Piercy and Commissioner Davidson and Commissioner Dodd and Commissioner Gooch and Commissioner McAdoo and many others, it's true collaboration. But what I have discovered is the 21 commissioners pretty much agree on the issues and where we need to take the county. And what I've discovered is that but all 21 commissioners have a different speed at which they assimilate information and are able to make a decision. And so you have to, as the mayor, I have to, and I need to do better, and I'm working on it, but I want to work at the pace of the county commission. And so we're doing that, and that is evidenced by the things that we've gotten done. If you want to know how well we work together, look at the exhaustive list of accomplishments in 4 years.
Exactly.
It's pretty impressive. Again, I can't take credit. It takes work from the county commission. It takes work from the directors, the other constitutional officers, the mayor's office, but most importantly, and above all, it takes the citizenry. It's truly a community effort to get all the things done that we have gotten done, and everybody deserves credit.
And in between, this goes back to my many years as a city manager, in between, it's your phenomenal staff. And the way the staff implements policy, implements programs, and implements budgets.
I will tell you, on my staff, he gets little credit and no recognition. But Eric Hennessy, my chief of staff, without question, is the most valuable component in ensuring the effectiveness of how this county is run. He is the reason, more than any other, why we've gotten so much done. His ability to work with the commission, to work on projects, his attention to detail, just the volume of work that he does, just on contracts alone, is mind-boggling, and I couldn't be more proud to have somebody like Eric Hennessy at my side for this county. He's indispensable.
Absolutely. Now, this is not a political appearance you're here, even though you're running against other candidates for the primary on May 5th.
Is there an election coming up, Bill?
I think there may be. Somebody told me that on the way up the steps. But beyond the fact, not as a campaign promise, not as a candidate promise, If there were three of the most important things that you could put your magic wand to as the county mayor in Rutherford County for the next year or the next long term, what would the three things be?
That's easy.
Oh, I gave you an easy one.
That's a softball. Number one is, and we're working on this, but a managed, implementable plan to deal with the growth such that we have the appropriate infrastructure to support that growth.
The quality growth.
Yes. Number two, and that growth has to reflect the values and principles of this community. Everybody, we need to grow, but we need to grow in the right way and in the proper manner. The second would be the ultimate closure of Middle Point landfill. We no longer need Nashville's 500,000 tons of trash coming into our county.
Do they appreciate that fact?
Well, I know Republic Services appreciates the fact, but the community in Walter Hill and northern part of Murfreesboro is tired of that fact.
Absolutely.
And then we don't have a need for it. Our transfer station now can do 400,000 tons a year, so we can tap the entire volume of the county at our transfer station.
Super.
But the third and final thing would probably be we need to build a new jail. And so those are the three things going forward in my next term, if I'm fortunate enough to be reelected on May 5th, that we're going to address specifically.
You know what I always say, and then we're going to take a break in a moment, Brian. How's that sound? You know what it says? We need more space in the jail. Well, people think, are we getting worse behavior? Are we getting bad people? No, we are just a growth area, and everything requires an increase in service.
The county has a population of 200,000 more people than it did when that jail was originally built.
Wow.
So that's the issue. It's a capacity issue, and because we're way over capacity, we have to do something, or the federal judges will come in and do something, and that will be very expensive.
And disastrous.
Yes, sir.
We'll be right back. We're having a morning wonderful visit with a gentleman who really is the Renaissance man. You know, when I think back, just before we take our break, when I think back of all the things you've covered, from forest ranger to engineer to entrepreneur to elected official to man of the land, from horses to bees, just the variety of the Renaissance man, plus the radio man. I've got to say that radio man, right in.
I've got the face, Bill.
Yes, and the voice and the response. We'll be right back after this message.
Thank you.
When it comes to your child's health,
you want care that's close, convenient,
and centered around the needs of your family.
At MMC Pediatrics, we're more than just doctors.
We're partners in your parenting journey.
Here for every growth spurt,
for every boo-boo,
every fever, and every flu.
Our team approach means that your child always sees someone that knows them.
We are MMC Pediatrics.
We are right beside you.
Every step of the way.
I'll be right there.
It takes all of us to power a community, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
At Maples Realty and Auction, we handle traditional sales, auctions, and property management. And we have a development called The Maples with local builders and amenities. I'm Betsy Maples, and this is our team. It's our people. That's the difference. Call us today and let us help you get your property sold.
I refer a lot of clients to Maples Realty when we have real estate issues that are coming up. Working with Maples has been easy for me, easy for my clients.
Put our 57 years of success to work for you. Sold!
Local farmers, local meats, vegetables, and other produce at the Winter Spring Rutherford County Farmers Market.
Every Friday at Lane Agri Park.
Hey folks, it's Chip Walters from Exit Realty Bob Lamb and Associates, helping Middle Tennessee make smart moves in a fast-moving market. Whether you're buying, selling, or just exploring your options, you deserve someone who knows this community and treats your goals like their own. From first-timers to long-time homeowners, I'm here to guide you with clarity, confidence, and a steady hand. When you're ready to make the next move, start with someone you trust. Visit choosechip.net and let's make your 2026 move the right move.
Rise and shine. It's early voting time. I'm Melissa Harrell. As your circuit court clerk, I'm focused on one thing, making our legal system work better for you. I've modernized technology, protected your records, and ensured your tax dollars are used wisely. But to keep the progress going, I need your help. Early voting now through April 30th, Election Day, May the 5th. I'm Melissa Harrell, and I'm asking for your vote.
Paid for by friends to elect Melissa Harrell, Doug Bodery, Treasurer.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
Bill Kraus, final segment of the WGNS Radio Roundtable, the Thursday morning edition. And we've been having a very informative, very motivating visit with our dear friend and our county mayor, the Honorable Joe Carr. Joe, I want to ask you one question because I missed this, and maybe Brian can even fill in. We had Jimmy Sullivan with us on the air, or the show was on the air last week.
Yeah.
And my one concern with Rutherford County schools is their bonding capacity of how they can respond to building new schools, especially if that massive development west of 24 up near Antioch comes underway.
Right.
So can I ask the question, are there, and you mentioned the bonding capacity, you mentioned how we rank in our bonding abilities. How do we look on the growth and development of Rutherford County schools?
So we have done remarkably well, thanks to Dr. Sullivan's leadership in making sure that the capital needs of the schools are met. As you probably know, Bill, the Rutherford County school system is the fourth largest school system in the state.
Right.
And when you include Murfreesboro City Schools, we're the third largest enrollment, K through 12 enrollment. And so that shows you the demographic. We have a lot of young married couples with young children that are moving here or starting families here. And we love that. We love that people want to raise their families, go to church here, go to work here. But that
listen to WGNS.
Yeah, that's right. Listen to the Good Neighbor stations.
Yes.
And so we have an obligation to educate those kids in an environment that is conducive to a first-class education. Dr. Sullivan and the school board and his administrators and the teachers and the faculty do a phenomenal job. And so we have made that investment, almost $400 million in the last 4 years. Our next need is going to be another high school, and I'm not sure where the plan is to put that high school. I know we've bought some property out in the western part of the county between Almaville and Smyrna and Laverne, up in that area, and also we have some property available down in Christiana. I'll leave that to Dr. Sullivan and his staff to determine the next need, but we know there's a need coming, and we're going to have to address it.
Absolutely. Putting this all together, there's a primary election on May 5th.
Early voting's already started, Bill.
Already started.
So you can go vote early at 7 different locations in the county.
You require 50% plus one to win the primary.
No, sir.
Oh.
It's just a plurality, just a majority. A simple majority vote.
Okay, and once that vote is given, next is a general election?
That's correct.
In November?
But this year, unlike years past, that's correct. Unlike previous years, there is no Democrat or independent qualified on the ballot. So effectively, the election for the mayor will be decided on May 5th.
And it is nonpartisan, I do want to...
No, sir. This is a Republican primary.
I'm sorry.
No, sir. That's quite all right. We have partisan elections for mayor and sheriff and the county clerk, the trustee. Let's see, what else is on the ballot? We have 3 uncontested races.
The sheriff, of course.
The trustee, which is Ted Beatty, is uncontested. Heather Dahlbarn does a great job as the Register of Deeds. She's uncontested. Lisa Kroll, she's the county clerk. She does does a great job, and she also is uncontested. The contested races are for sheriff with Mr. Barrett, Mr. Mansfield, and Mr. Spence, all running for the Republican nominee. And then we have the county court clerk, which is Miss Harrell, who's the incumbent, and Mr. McKinney, who is the challenger. And then you have the mayor's race, which is Commissioner Craig Harris, Randy Allen, and myself, Joe Carr.
Perfect. Roughly, what kind of participation do you see? Registered voters in Rutherford County number roughly
about 220,000.
And do you expect 10%?
We hope.
Okay, so 20,000.
Yeah, 22,000. It's unfortunate that the turnout is so low because it is true. Your local elected officials impact your everyday life day after day after day more than your state and certainly more than the federal government. But we just can't seem to draw the interest because we're not a regular part of the news cycle like what's going on in Washington or Nashville is. So, and I get it. So because you're not part of that news cycle, you tend to think it's not as informative or as important, but the opposite is true.
And the general election is?
I think August 8th,
August,
Bill.
Okay, so you're not tied in with November?
No, sir.
Thank goodness for that.
I believe August 8th is the general election for local elections, but it's also the primary date for partisan elections across the state.
For the general election.
State and federal offices, yes, sir.
Wow. All right. So, why should somebody take the time to go to one of 7 precincts in the county for early voting or voting on May 5th? Why should people become involved? Does the voice matter? Do you recall any election where it was a half dozen votes made the difference?
Your voice, the listener's voice matter if you're concerned about your property taxes being raised.
Okay.
Your voice matters if you're concerned about balanced budgets. Your voice matters if you're concerned about quality education, proper infrastructure, making sure that we are solid waste independent and we no longer have to depend on Middle Point for our disposal of our solid waste. That vote matters now more than ever, and I would implore the listeners to go vote. Exercise your right. And here's why the vote matters more than anything. Our democracy, Bill, exists only and functions only when the citizenry is engaged. If you're not engaged by expressing your will at the ballot box, then democracy really has a hard time functioning. And so it functions well and best when the voters go express their will at the ballot box. So please, listeners, go express your will at the ballot box. Make your voice be heard so that we, the electorate, those of us who are elected, know the direction we need to take.
Let me raise one question with your behavior hat from way back.
Oh, my goodness.
One of the main things I worry about teaching American government, as I do, is society having to absorb so much news, so much change, almost on an hourly basis. When you think in the last 30 days, what news has come across our TV or our systems or what have you, everything from global in Iran to going around the moon to rescuing a pilot to on and on and on, the conflicts of a congressman in California. How much can the average public absorb, or do they suddenly say, I'm turning off?
Well, they turn off when they can't absorb. So there's a saturation level.
Sure.
And so we've reached that saturation level a long time ago. So what you do instead of getting quality news now, Bill, we get sound bites. Mm-hmm. That's not quality news.
No.
There's not watch the news and you see multiple 60 and 90-second segments on the news now. And so now we're just putting out sound bites. And so there's no analysis, there's no explanation, there's very little context. We're getting sound bites. And when you deliver news in that fashion, and I know why it's being done, and I understand it, it's because the entire country has a bit of ADHD. It's hard to pay attention, and we've done that to ourselves, and we're all victims of that. But I think we're beyond the saturation point, and that's why you're seeing news now delivered in sound bites, and you're not getting context, and you're certainly not getting in-depth analysis.
And the final word I have on that, what are the words being used to describe those sound bites?
Oh, yes.
And every word can create a message.
Absolutely. It does create a message.
It does, and a message that is considered, I heard it on the TV, I heard it on radio, but was it fact?
I saw it on the internet. How many times I saw it? I saw it on so it must be true.
I always will tell students, in conclusion, before you write something on a paper, before you say something in a class, and I encourage, always start out with the sentence, in my opinion.
Yes.
This is how I see it.
Yep.
Joe Carr, you have made my morning. You really have. Getting out of the hospital, getting out of COVID and what have you. And for those of you who get the signs of COVID, take care of it immediately.
Amen.
Don't let it ride.
No, sir.
God bless you, my friend, and we will talk to you very soon.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Brian, very much.
Thank you.
WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna.
Premier 6 Theater on Broad in Jackson Heights.
Let's all go to the movies.
Check out what's showing at murfreesboromovies.com. Popcorn popped fresh daily.
Movies like a good old primitive.
Premier 6 on Broad.